Good afternoon, everybody. Keith Engdahl for TGI Sports Talks. Sunday, stream of consciousness. I know we've had some shaky feeds from the high seas. We're back from the Caribbean. A great week, guys. Never had a blast. That's all I could say. Hope you guys have had a great week. I promised the regulars I'd come on. We'll do I don't know what we'll do. Guys, I'm going to be roughing it here, so you guys are going to have to help me out today. So much going on in sports. I do want to talk about some things. I certainly want to talk about the Yankees. I want to talk about Aaron Boone. I want to fix my studio. I even got the studio ready for you guys today, because I know you're probably tired of looking at me outside of the studio. Oh, Rick Sherlock, welcome home. Oh, yeah. You know what? We had a great flight home. We weren't supposed to get home till about 2:45. We landed in Albany at 1:55. You never do that. I mean, it took us, I swear to God, going down. We were supposed to leave at 9:45 Friday, a week ago, Friday. And we arrived in Miami at 12:15. Drunk 3 times in 3 different airports, it seemed. Hey, a lot of fun, though. Glad to be back with you guys. I do want to talk about some stuff to catch up on a few things. Certainly talk with you guys. I know we had a pretty good strain of conversation going this morning when I was sitting in the airport waiting to come home with Rick and Kenny and Alan. Alan, we probably won't see until the Dallas game gets over. I'm not sure the score. Let me pull up some scores here. You know, I get home too, Rick. I don't know if you have this problem. I know you don't watch the game. I happen to bet the Giants. I get home and Fox is gone from DirecTV streaming. Had to pull up the Fox Now app so I could watch it, but I don't have it upstairs on my office now. So I just turned on the Jet game. So I want to look at the scoreboard here real quick. Let's look at what's going on. And I got a lot of stuff to talk about. I know you guys do. Rick, you had a couple of topics. I thought I don't know. There was one I started to address when I was away, and I probably jumped all over the place because I was probably drinking. I got to see the Giants score before I do anything, because I bet the Giants. I bet the Chargers. 2017. Maybe it's bets that I'm not watching. Oh, hello, Augustine. Good to have you with us today, and thanks for the welcome home. I don't know if I'm glad to be here, but it was certainly nice. Gone from DirecTV. I don't know if you have DirecTV, Rick. I saw these notes on Channel 10, probably because Fox and 10 are affiliated here. That when I watch Jeopardy, I think it's about the only thing I watch on Channel 10, and they would have this scroll every night. We have 10. I was a little worried that was going to be gone, but now Fox is gone. You can, Rick, if you have DirecTV streaming. I don't know what you use for Fox. If you haven't got it and you have a smart TV and you can download the Fox Now app, you can watch Fox. Just an FYI. They have all the Fox channels on there. You just have to, have a regular TV provider. So anyway, there's my TV update for you guys. You would be a happy Ducks fan today, Augustine. Your team is playing some great football. They knock off another undefeated in UCLA. The undefeateds are oh man, who's left? I'll take a quick look in a little bit. Tennessee's left. Georgia's left. I'm not even sure who else is left without looking. It's weird not to know what's going on. Fudge Packers just scored. What's the score there, Rick? I was going to bet the Commanders today. So it's 23-21 is the score I'm looking at, unless you saw something newer. Looking for the time left in this Giant game. 4 minutes left. They've got the ball. That's a good thing. Yeah, just to let you guys, I've been on a roll. I think I posted in the I lost a game yesterday in college. I told you guys how bad a streak I was on the first, I don't know, 6 weeks, not 6 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks in the cigar box, but I've been on a roll. So after yesterday, it's like the last, I don't know, I've won the last 17 or 18 out of 20. That's college and pro combined. I bet 3 college games every week and 3 pro games every week. You can bet a max of 6 games, and That's how I kind of roll usually, unless I see something new. Jim Jeffcoat. I wish I'd been on this morning. I tried so hard. My connection from the hotel was so bad this morning. I was gonna get on while we're eating breakfast, and because I miss being with those guys on Sunday morning. I haven't been on 2 Sundays in a row now. Love interacting with Jeff. Is Jim Jeffcoat one of the best down to earth guys you ever want to meet? They do a great job, and Jim does a great job. I love having him on, and he's a voice of reason on that show because Matt can go off to do or else sometime. I hope they're not watching today. And Jack is Jack. I love Jack though. I love those guys because I can get into it with them. Same thing with Carlos. Same thing with Mancini. I'm going to tell you guys right now, and Mark, if you're watching or you see this later, I'm going to get much tougher on you because your hatred of LA is just getting out of control. I mean, my God, you've got to stop. And Rick, and we'll talk about this, Rick, during this show, because we're just going to kind of wing it here for a while. The use of we with your teams. You talked about this last week. I think I wasn't on the show when Jim addressed it, or you addressed it with Jim. I have no problem with fans using we. I have no problem with a Rick Sherlock saying we when he talks about the Vikings, or Augustin talking we when he talks about the Oregon Ducks, or Alan talking about we when we talk about Dallas or Oklahoma, or me with the Yankees and the Patriots, because I have invested tons, or even you, tons in wearables, tons in tickets, tons in whatever you want to talk about. Oh, there's my Dunkin'. I was looking for my Dunkin' coffee. But when you jump on a bandwagon and say we, when you're talking about the San Diego Padres beating the Dodgers, or now it's we with the Phillies and we with this, you can't do that. That is, and I'm going to, believe me, when Mark's on with me again, I'm going to be all over him about this. I'm okay. There are certain ways to use we. Denver and the Jets just kicked off. So anyway, and I like Mark, and I know some we have a problem with pay him off on steak sandwiches, but and he does have some off the wall stuff. But this crazy, you can pick against a team because you don't like them, but don't tell me they stink. Dodgers don't stink. Dodgers had a very good team. They got beat by a better Padre team, right? I think you guys know me well enough. There's a lot of teams I hate. I hate the Giants. I bet the Giants today. I hate the Jets. I've been telling Jet and Giant fans that your teams are getting better for 2 years now. And you don't believe me. They don't want to believe me. Well, let's look at it now. The Giants are about to go 6-1. Let me get to some of your comments here, since I did get out for you guys here today. We got that one. Keith Engel, what happened at MLB? Yankees stink, man. We stink. Brett, look at. I am just so. It all started for me in the with the Yankees, and I'll go on to some of your other comments. It all started for me with the Yankees in it was against, gosh, who the heck we played in the division series? I'm already lost. I can't even remember who the hell we played. Oh, my God. Isn't that terrible? Who was it? Wasn't Seattle. Oh, Cleveland. And he could have closed this thing out. He doesn't bring Clay Holmes in. You don't leave your closer on the bench with a 2-run lead and pitch everybody else. And then in game 1 of this series, and then in game 1 in this series against Houston, he treats it like it's, a regular season game. He's got guys out there like Matt Carpenter, who's had 2 at-bats in 2 months. He's got Montas, who he puts in the game. The game is not out of hand. You put Montas in there if they're not pitching for nearly a month and pitching horribly when he does. There was something else going on too in that game. He treated this like it was, we'll just give away game 1. It really doesn't matter. and the Yankees striking out 30 times in 2 games. Oh my God. The first 2 games. Down 3-0. I think they win tonight with Nestor, but this team's going out in 5 games probably. Don't get me going on Brett Boone. Brett Boone, sorry, that's his brother. I got some comments I'm going to have to delete here in a little bit. He is definitely a we. You're talking about Jim. Jim Jeffcoat's a we. Any fan who is a true fan and roots for one team and makes investments, as I said, Rick, in wearables, goes to games, watches them religiously, changes family events like I do, or don't show up to them or disappear to go watch whatever, you can say we. But you can't root for 7 teams and say we. As far as I'm concerned, Mark Mancini's a Pittsburgh fan. He can say we there. Stop saying we everywhere else. You want to root for teams against every team in LA, then do it. Look at me. I'm back 5 minutes and I'm already pissed off. It's awesome. Stop doing it. Rick, you can say we. Really great game. Which one? The Oregon. You got to help me, Augustin. I'm so all over the place today. This is literally our stream of consciousness show today. I promise you, because I'm going to be all over the board trying to catch up. Just try to get with you guys and catch up a little bit. You know, I listen. I definitely went to the Skybox Sports Bar more than once watching games. I watched the Patriot game on this little phone on last Sunday, which was a great game, by the way. If you didn't watch it, my Patriots 3-3. I told you guys. I didn't know Mac Jones would be hurt. We don't have a quarterback controversy, by the way. Maybe college football. A few. I'm not sure what that means, Augustin. I'm sorry. Jim's we. No, I agree. Jim's we overrides all others. If you played for a team, you're definitely more we than me. Starting to sound like a Dr. Seuss thing here. You know, but when I have conversations with, at the bar with my Patriot compadres, I say we need to win this game. We need to get a first down here. We need a touchdown. I don't have a problem talking like that. But when guys who don't root for teams and they've only got money on a team or they just want the other team to lose, stop saying we. We have a. I don't know if you guys can see who this PAS. Oh, it's getting bad guys. It's getting bad with the bots. Be careful on Facebook. It's getting bad with the bots. How about them Cowboys? I'm guessing they won, or you wouldn't be saying that, Alan. I'm looking at the scoreboard a little bit now. Don't even show up on my scoreboard. How about the Commanders, by the way? I'm sorry, the team formerly known as the Redskins. Where's the rest of the scores? There we go. 24-6. By the way, we shut that team out. Just an FYI. You gave up 6 points in this game. We gave up none. And you're going to stay a game behind in the division, it looks like, because the Giants are going to win a game again. Am I wrong? Let me get back up here. 25 seconds left. They got the football. I don't see how they can lose this game. Oh, you guys are awesome. We know you're a huge Ducks fan there, Augustin, and congratulations, I will say again, on beating undefeated UCLA. Mark Mancini now has nobody left to root for. For whatever reason, he only dislike USC, which, by the way, he did at one point, and UCLA. So now the Pac-12, Oregon now is in the driver's seat to be considered for a playoff. It's comical. You can't make this stuff up. We'll get into a lot of that. We can talk some college football here. I'm going to go. I don't know, guys. I'll go to 5 or a little after. I promised my wife I wouldn't be up here too long. And you know what? I don't know about you guys. I'm really going to be all over the place today. Not one drink today, I promise. I get home, I have to get my suitcase unpacked and the dirty clothes down the laundry chute and the clean clothes put back away. I can't go on with my evening. It's scary. So yes, Oregon, good job. Where'd they move into? I know Alan sent me let me look here quickly on the college football rankings. Let's see where the Oregon Ducks moved. They must have moved back to the top 10, right? 8. Good job. Good job. Georgia stays at number 1, Ohio State, Tennessee, Michigan. By the way, you notice Penn State dismantles Minnesota yesterday. I did bet Penn State, despite my hatred for James Franklin. And I don't hate the guy. I'm sure he's a good enough guy. He just can't win top 20 games. I keep telling you, 10 games. He's 2-19 against top 10 teams. Most of them named Michigan and Ohio State when they're good. Oops, sorry about that. Kenny must be deep into his nightly relaxation ritual. Neil, what are you agreeing with, buddy? By the way, college football, we're going to be all over the board today. This is why I named the show the Sunday Stream of Conscience. It's just so I could do just this. And every now and again, it's going to happen. And guys, just so you know, anybody who's catching us late, I'm on this time because I've been on vacation, just came home. So we did I do a show last Sunday? I did, right from the deck of the ship. Yeah. I guess I did an hour. Probably. And I apologize. Rick said the stream was good on his end. Every time I watch a stream, it seems fine while I'm doing it. But then every time I watch it later, it's awful. And every time I've been on a cruise ship, Rick will say, "That's great." Now, I'm not saying you're wrong, Rick. I just don't know what goes on. Oh, South Carolina, first ever win against Texas A&M. And South Carolina, by the way, has moved into the top 25. Myself, and I think Neil, talked this team up a little bit in the preseason. I thought they'd be better than they've been. The coach, Shane Beamer's doing a great job there. Spencer Rattler's been kind of up and down, but look at this team's 5-2. Great job. Great job. ACC, by the way, we'll have, I already talked to Larry Sorensen, as I may have mentioned on one of the shows I did from the ship. Larry's going to be on Wednesday. We got to get caught up with Wake Forest, who's moved back into the top 10, tied with USC in the AP poll. Still alive for that. Listen, this would have been perfect. Clemson should have lost yesterday. And listen, you guys know how I feel. I'll get to some more comments here in a second. You guys know how I feel about don't let yourself get beat by referees. That doesn't mean I can't talk about bad calls. Syracuse played well enough to win yesterday. You got to score some points in the second half, right? And it's not all referees that beat you. But the refereeing in football is atrocious, especially in college football. You tell me how that hit on the Clemson quarterback yesterday was roughing the passer. Tell me how that he's just running out of bounds. Oh, it's atrocious. By the way, I said this morning that DJ Uglamadia, I know I didn't say his name right, probably has one more half of football left him as a starter at Clemson. That would be my guess. Dabo said all the right things yesterday, but he was awful. And if Dabo wants to get to a major, have a chance at a playoff, and even if not, still playing a major New Year's Day bowl game, he will change his quarterback probably after the first half next week, is what I would say. So anyway, Neil, great. I don't know if beating Texas A&M is any great shakes, and we'll talk more about coaches in trouble. You tell me Jimbo Fisher is not in trouble at Texas A&M. I don't care what his buyout is. This guy's got a worse record than Kevin Sulman had at Texas A&M. They're paying this guy $7.5 million a year. Oh. TB should have retired. I made a comment when Allen put up some drives for Tampa Bay this year. I said this. Look at, I feel bad because I spent 20 plus years sticking up for Tom Brady in every way, shape, or form. And Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. You guys can throw any names at you want. You can throw any stats at me you want. You can throw any argument at me you want, and I will tell you you're wrong. But Tom Brady this year made some big mistakes. Obviously, the problems going on in his marriage, look, it's his personal life. I don't want to get that involved, but it's affecting his play on the football field. I said when he left during training camp and spent half of it gone, it was wrong message to send to his team. He was not going to be ready. I got into an argument with a Patriot fan in one of the groups. I think it was it's a group called the Atlanta, New England Patriot fans in Atlanta, whatever. He's telling me Tom knows what it takes to get ready for a football season. Yeah, well, was Tom ready to play with all the new teammates he played with who were not as good as the previous ones? Was Tom ready to work with a new coach who's not as good as the previous one? And was Tom ready to get his 45-year-old body ready for football? No. And his 45-year-old mind? No. Tom should have stayed retired. If Tom was going to be back and be bought into this 100%. Oh, and then, by the way, he was going to take Wednesdays off. I can't defend Tom Brady. Tom Brady should have stayed retired. I said, Alan will remember this during our football preview. I said Tampa Bay would probably finish third in that division. Of course, I picked Carolina to win it. But my prediction about Tampa Bay will probably be correct. They will not make the playoffs. It's a bad football team, guys. And Todd Bowles is not a good head coach. Ducks are ranked 8th in the AP. Yes, they are. Jewelry buys. Buys me a little time. I have to tell you, no jewelry this time. Only because she couldn't find what she liked. God, if I told you how much money of my money is in jewelry stores in the Caribbean, you guys would think I was nuts. But it's fun. It's fun. I love doing it for her. She deserves everything she gets. So Brady losing to Carolina. Did they lose? The Carolina team without a quarterback, without a running back. Oh my God, where's the scores? Did he lose? Is it over? 21-3. He may retire. By the way, he got asked this week. I was on a cruise ship, but I know this. He had to shoot down rumors he would retire during the season. Sad, man, sad. Neil, I'm glad you popped in today. I didn't know how many guys we'd have pop in. We got a pretty good crew here, and we got a pretty good crew watching, and we'll get back to sharing the show. I haven't even shared the shows to the groups lately because I've been so busy. I was straight out at work the week before we left. I had to be in the office every day. We had workshops. My boss was in from Utah. We were out to dinner every night. I know that doesn't sound like hard work, man, but when you're gone from 7 in the morning until 9 at night every freaking day, and then I got to get ready to go on vacation. It sucks. My life sounds horrible, doesn't it? Shut up, Keith. Quit your whining. SC in the top 25 for the first time in 5. Neil, are you a South Carolina fan? I don't remember how we came about this. I remember when you and I first had this conversation on the show, and I said SC would be better than a lot of people thought. And I liked the move to Rattler. He hasn't set the world on fire, but he hasn't been terrible. But I like Shane Beamer. He's not staying in South Carolina much longer. Interestingly enough, he considered going to Virginia Tech to replace Fuentes. Was it Fuentes who got fired there? Anyway, his dad's got a great legacy there, and I don't know that he wants to go there. But I think Shane Beamer may not be long for SC. And so is that your team, Neil, or is there a different team that you root for? Oh, posting my college football rankings tonight. First official rankings, November 1st. Is that the first? Right, that's a Tuesday. I was wondering. I actually meant to look that up. And by the way, that will be the rankings we use from that point on. So I don't want to hear about. I'm not going by AP. I'm not going by coaches polls. I'm not going by anything but the coaches. I'm sorry, the playoff rankings come November 1st. I'll give you mine too. Augusta's got 2 tickets to see Cal against Oregon. They better win that game, Augusta. Your team, after a 49-0, if I got the score right, Rick, thrashing to Georgia to start the season, has played remarkable football. They have beat some really good teams. They beat BYU. They beat, who'd they beat? UCLA. Pac-12 is not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's going to be very hard to get in there with that one loss. We had some discussion the other day, I think when I was doing my college football show from the ship. And again, with the bad feed, I'm not sure how much people picked up on, but we talked about, some possibilities. And look, there's so many games to be played and so many scenarios we can look at. There's no way. It started over Paul Feinbaum saying you get 4 teams in from the SEC. That's not going to happen. But 3 could get in, depending on how things break. Although that probably went down. With Ole Miss losing yesterday, I don't think they're getting in with 1 loss. But Oregon's back in the mix. Packers lose that game, did they? Told you. How about them? That team formerly known as the Redskins, Alan? What's their record now? 2-4. Not out of the race. Not out of the race. How about me, the Giant hater, betting the Giants 2 weeks in a row? I hardly ever wager on the Giants. I will tell you, I had the Chargers here late, -4, and the Patriots -8 tomorrow night in the cigar box. Looking for 5 out of 6 again. Neil, Brady and Rodgers both going down. Joe Burrow's number 1. Look, at Joe Burrow's a really good quarterback, but he's not Patrick Mahomes yet. He's still the best quarterback in football. But Burrow's not far behind. Burrow's got problems. That offensive line's going to get him killed. They played well today. I liked the Bengals today, and I couldn't pull the trigger on beating them just because they have not looked good all year. And Chase was hurt today. Not sure how much he played. Oh, your son's a SC alum. All right, okay, that makes sense. Look, they've had some good coaches come through there, right? Lou Holtz coached there, and they did pretty well. The old ball coach, Steve Spurrier coached there. You can just call me Keith Augustin. You know how to say Keith Engel every time. Call me your Highness. Oh, your Lord. I am a Lord. Whether you guys know it, I own some land in Scotland. I'm a Lord. I own a 1 square foot plot of land over there. So I'm officially a Lord. If you didn't know that. That happened on my birthday last year. So excited about that. What's my rankings look like right now? Well, how many do you want? You don't want 25. You want my 4? This is going to be off the cuff, and it could change before Wednesday when I get a chance to do a little research this week. Georgia's definitely in. Ohio State's definitely in. Tennessee's definitely in. Then it becomes Clemson and Michigan. Alabama's not getting in with 1 loss over undefeated Michigan, an undefeated Clemson, an undefeated TCU. They're not getting in over them either. So if you want my rankings now, I'll give you my top 10. I like what they've got at the top. I'll take the top 4. I will leave Michigan over Clemson. I'm putting TCU over Alabama. I'm putting TCU over Clemson right now. I've got Clemson. I'm going to put TCU 5, move Clemson down to 6, Alabama down to 7. I'm going to put Oklahoma State, sorry, Augustine, over Oregon at 8. Put Oregon 9. I like USC at 10. Wake Forest 11. The rest, I'm not going to look at. Is there anybody else that, by the way, Syracuse blew a golden opportunity yesterday. Because as crazy as it seems, if Syracuse had beaten Clemson at Clemson and found a way to run the table, Syracuse would have been in the discussion for a playoff spot, depending on what happened elsewhere. They would have been in the discussion. They would have been in the top 10 this week. Yes, I'm dropping your Oregon team down a notch. It's not. There's a lot of games to go. I mean, it'll play itself out. But the Big 12 is better than the Pac-12. That's the reason. Oklahoma State should have beat TCU. And Alan will tell you, I love Mike Gundy. Mike Gundy, again, he kind of falls into the Lane Kiffin mode. Because of his over-the-top personality, he doesn't get the credit he deserves as a football coach. He's a great football coach. If they'd not blown this lead against TCU last week, this team's talking, I'd be putting them in a playoff right now. Giants survive. The Jags got to 1 yard short. Holy moly. Thanks for that update. Pac-12. I don't think the Pac-12 is better than the Big 12 right now. I mean, if I have to look at both those conferences, we spent a lot of time on college football today, right? I got to get to some baseball. Let me look at these two side by side. The Big 12. You got 3 ranked teams: TCU, Oklahoma State, K-State. Texas, not a bad football team. Baylor, not a bad football team. I'm gonna go. I got a reason for what I'm doing here. Texas Tech is probably as low as I'm going to go. Kansas, sorry about what a great story Kansas is, but Kansas may not win another game this year with their quarterback out. I don't know if he's out for the year. Alan, you might be able to give me an update on that. Let's look at the Pac-12. How deep does that go? 4 ranked teams, because you got Utah. But I'm going to tell you that every team in the Pac-12 is better than the rest of that league. Oregon State's better, but they're not as good as Baylor. Washington, I had high hopes for Washington. Not as good as Baylor. Washington State, 1-3 in the league. Then you got really bottom dwellers. Who else can even? California, Arizona. There's nobody in. Let me look real quick before I say this statement. Remember, we're flying off the cuff here today, guys. Iowa State 0-4. Matt Campbell, man, the bloom is off his rose, huh? Even Oklahoma, as bad as they've played, I'm going to tell you that there's nobody in the Big 12 as bad as Cal, as bad as Arizona, as bad as Colorado, as bad as Arizona State, and as bad as Stanford. There's nobody in that conference, including Iowa State, who's played some nail biters, and West Virginia, which is a disappointing team this year. None of them are worse than the bottom 2, 4, 6, 8 teams in the Pac-12. Pac-12 doesn't play. Nobody's playing defense. So, my God, let me look at this. I did this last year. Oh, and this year had been better. Last year, every week I was like, does anybody play defense? 65-24, Tennessee over UT. I just look at some of the better teams. LSU 45-20, 38-28, Kansas State and TCU, 45-30, 41-34. The first one, Oregon and UCLA. Oklahoma State 34-31 over Texas. Oh my God. 38-28. And these are better than the defenses I was talking about last year. This is a defense, and again, this is partly because of the way games played. It's partly because of the targeting calls. It's similar to baseball. Every new rule that comes in to football, whether it's college or pro, benefits offense. Do people really, and then there's the OT rules. Do people really want to see 50 to 48 shootouts? I don't. Oh, and Augustine, you're entitled to your opinion. Don't ever think, listen, Augustine, I don't want you ever to take offense. Because as every one of these guys here can tell you, I'm a very passionate and opinionated person. That does not in any way, shape, or form think I know everything. And I'm often wrong, and I will admit it. And if Oregon were to beat out Oklahoma State, let's say, for the fourth playoff spot, and they're both conference champions, I'll admit I was wrong. Potentially. But we always leave friends. You guys watch. Augustine, you watch how I get on, go back and forth with Carlos, who has just shown up. And we're buddies. I just get very passionate. Oh, what do you got here? Ken. Oh, Oklahoma State's too low. That's too low for Oklahoma State. They're better. Look, if they want to be better than Alabama, they're better than Oregon. I like the first five. I like the first six. And then who cares? I mean, after that, does it really matter after that? These teams it's going to change so much. Luck. All luck, Carlos. Come on. Will you admit for a change that coaching matters in this league? And you've got the Giants hired a right coach. They're on their way to having a good team. They're 6-1, and you just won't give them any credit. How about your Jets? 7-0 they're winning. They're not making any progress either, are they, Carlos? I love the fact that I have to sit here week after week, show after show, defending two teams I hate, the Jets and the Giants, that their management has these teams on the right path. Guys are nuts. God, thank God I'm not a fan of those. Yeah, boy. I couldn't be a fan like that. Maybe I'm spoiled. And there's times I get on my team, especially the Yankees. But, gosh, the gloom and doom around Giants and Jet fans. I got to defend them. They're terrible. They're making great progress. Oh, Alan has a problem with Bama's defense and their discipline. I feel that LSU beats them at home next week. I don't think so. I'm not saying that this is a perfect Alabama team, just like I told you last year. That's why Nick Saban's a great coach, by the way. He takes teams that, his teams are not, this is not a classic Alabama team. But nobody's playing. Who's playing great defense? Georgia, not as good as last year. Show me the team that really has a stout defense. Clemson didn't look like it in the first half last week. It looked like it in the second half. And I'm not saying it's good. Offense wins, and that's all that matters. And I don't think LSU's ready. And I think we talked about this in the chat room earlier today when I was in the airport. But I don't think that I don't think LSU's ready to beat Alabama, even at home. I'm very impressed with what Brian Kelly's done in year one, though. Very impressed. It's all good, Augustine. We ride each other really pretty good here, believe me. The Ducks played great football. I'm not taking anything away from the Oregon Ducks. When I say the Big 12 as a whole is better than the Pac-12, I would say Oregon and Oklahoma State are very, very close. The key to Oklahoma State is Sanders is playing really good football. He looks like the totally different quarterback than he looked like last year. Turn the ball over right and left. He's really, really good. As is Bo Nix. As long as Bo Nix doesn't need to play an SEC team somewhere along the line, and if they were to make the playoff, he probably will. Bo Nix has had a great year, except against Georgia. Not sure what that one's for. What do you got here, Carlos? Their defense is scary. Who's defense? Scary bad or scary good? Because, again, I just read you a bunch of scores. Who's got a good defense? Maybe Alabama's got it. I mean, again, we're beating up the Alabama defense, and they gave up 6 points. Now, look, at Tennessee's a tremendous team. Mississippi State's got a pretty good offense. They held them to 6 points yesterday. But I still would say the same thing. Nobody's playing good defense. Oregon plays good, fast, aggressive defense. All right, well, they still give up a lot of points. How many did they give up yesterday to UCLA? Probably not that many. How many did they give up to Georgia? 30 points they gave up yesterday. That's not good defense. I need to know, I guess, Carlos, and everybody, what's the baseline for good defense? Not 30 points a game. I don't think. Mad New Yorkers. I mentioned his name. Carlos is like Rumpelstiltskin. You say his name, and there he is. I'm kidding, Carlos. You're nothing like Rumpelstiltskin. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, I missed a bunch here. Sorry. McCaffrey's in the game. Is that the game you're getting out there? Yeah, we're stuck with the Jets in Denver here in New York. Unless they go to the red zone. I should have put the red zone on, but I don't think I had that downloaded upstairs here in my office. Nope, will admit that these teams are not good and they keep lucking out. These two teams are 10-3, and they're all lucky. And by the way, I will tell you once again, because Carlos, you and I have had this discussion many, many times. Luck is the residue of good design. You don't win 6 out of 7 games just because you're lucky. It doesn't happen. Amazing. Good to see you, CA. I survived. I respect your opinions too, Augustin. I respect everybody's opinion, to a point. Except like Mark Mancini. I have to get out Mark Mancini. He's gotten outrageous with this anti-Los Angeles thing. I just can't abide it anymore. Oh, I don't even look tired. You know why? Because I slept about 12 hours yesterday. We got to our hotel in Fort Lauderdale, and I went to a sports bar. We couldn't check in. So my goal was to check in, take a little nap, and go out and watch the games that I bet at 3:30, have a bite to eat, come home, go to bed. 8, 9 o'clock. Well, I went out at noon because we couldn't check in, and I stayed out until about 6, and then went to bed. So thank you. Anyway, I'm glad I don't look that tired. It was a good trip home. It was a lot easier than we did, and we had a great time. Thank you for the kind words, CA. We had a blast. I try to go live since you just joined us, by the way. I try to go live a few times during the week, and I know the feed sometimes a little choppy and not as good as I'd like it to be, but I like to have some fun and find a spot where I can have some fun and talk a little sports. Because most of the people on cruise ships, oh my God. By the way, it's too bad John DeLon's not with us because I'm glad Carlos is. I joke around about the SEC elitists. Oh my God, some of the people I ran into in airports this week and on cruise ships. You would think the rest of the football the football conferences were playing on Mars. Amazing. Oh, Carlos, what do you got? You enjoy the wins and not looking for them to be in a play. Well, guess what? The Giants are likely going to the playoffs, just an FYI. Every team can't. Carlos, you and I have these. What happened? Sorry about that. Everything went black. You and I have these discussions all the time. You want parity. You want your team to have a chance every single year. Oh, I'm frozen. I can't believe it. I don't know what's going on here. It keeps freezing. Probably somebody stole my internet connection while I was out. These teams are good. You don't go from no good to good overnight. Most teams. Who goes from did the Bengals go from good to Super Bowl contenders in 1 year? No, it took 3. Keep telling you guys this forever. You know my feelings on Zach Wilson. Playing pretty good football right now. Daniel Jones is only 7-1. I'm sorry, 6-1. I mean, God. I don't know what something keeps popping up here and wanting me to leave. I don't know what the hell it is. So if I freeze now again, I apologize. I keep telling you your teams are better. You keep telling me no. It's amazing. I got to stick up for your teams. You can't enjoy. If you can't enjoy the success your teams are having now, then you're destined to be miserable sports fan forever. I know you're glad LSU beat Ole Miss. We know that. And by the way, convincingly, congratulations, Brian Kelly. You kicked the crap out of Ole Miss. Ole Miss was having pretty much their way in that game till near halftime, and then it was just a blowout, I think. I fell asleep. You don't enjoy the wins. How can you tell me you enjoy the wins? I got to go back to your question here. You enjoy the wins, but you continue to bash them every week. You keep telling me Zach Wilson will never be anything. Zach Wilson will never. God damn it. Oh. I'm going to tell you, Carlos. Now I'm in your place. Carlos. Oh, now what do we got going on here? Can I get rid of this? I can't kick myself out. I'm in here twice. All right, guys, give me a. How about now? How about now? Not going to work once I mute myself. I'm trying, guys. I don't know what's going on unless I mute myself. These echoes are terrible. I'm going to try something, and you guys stick around a little bit because I'm not done with you yet. Got to find a way to get out of this. I don't know, guys. Anybody still here? God. I think I got some kind of infection in my computer, and you can see my background screen here. You can see I got to fix some settings. You guys, I'll get to your comments and get off Carlos's back for a little while because Carlos is messing with my. All right. What the hell? Oh, we got an awful connection. Can you guys hear me again? Somebody say yes. Looks like Rick said yes. Something's still wrong with my background now. I don't know what. Got my green screen. Yes, I have my... Oh, the fade's wrong. That's why. Let's try that. All right, that looks better. Sorry, guys. I for some reason I keep getting booted. I don't know what's going on. I changed my connection. We'll see how it goes. Let's get to some more of your questions, and maybe it's this frickin' people that are here. Block. Error occurred. I think that whoever this can't block them this time. I don't know what's going on, guys. All right, where were we? I guess I got some new. I must have lost all the comments I had before. So if I don't get to them, oh, you only have Fox, eh? You'll be an elitist in 3 years. We know that. Here comes some. Sounds good. Thank you. I don't know what's going on today. It's ridiculously bad. That was funny. I'm not sure what it was, but all right, guys. We have. Here's the thing. There's somebody in here, and I can't block them this time. There we go. I think we blocked them. We're getting some users in here. Be careful, guys, on Facebook. There's some bad bots. They're starting to get into my room. Now I gotta find them. I blocked the users, so hopefully they can't get in here anymore. So anyway, what were we talking about? We're talking about. I got to get back to my other screen now. All that time, my other screen timed out. We got to talk some baseball. CA, what do you got, by the way? 10-7 Niners. I like Kansas City today. I didn't beat them. What's the Chargers score, by the way? Somebody give me a Chargers score while my other screen pops up here. Because I can't get the password right. I use my work computer for my second screen, and I haven't worked in so long, I don't know what it is. Let's talk about, are we happy? We can continue this football, but I want to throw something out for baseball as well. What time is it? I'm going to go a little bit longer. My wife will forgive me. We just got home. I spent, 10 days with her. Are we happy with these baseball playoff formats? It sucks. It absolutely sucks. Listen, got nothing against San Diego. Got nothing against Philadelphia. In fact, if the Yankees are out, I may root for the Phillies because I'm a big Rob Thompson fan. But it was bad enough. And I got something to say about Bob Costas haters as well, by the way. Should I be watching two wild card teams play for a chance to go to the World Series? Ridiculous. God, I don't like it. Give me back a Western and Eastern division, get rid of the wild cards, and let's play real baseball again. And Bob Costas, for you guys who hate Bob Costas is a great, great play-by-play guy in baseball. He's talking a little more than he usually does. But I need people to get off of Bob Costas's back. I don't get it. I don't know if it's any of you guys, and if it is, I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Between some of the other guys I got to listen to, what the hell? That's probably the thing that's causing me the problem, the thing that just popped up on me. Bob Costas is a great, great baseball announcer. Some of the other idiots I got to listen to, like Michael Kay and that crew on frickin' Yes, and God, the guy who replaced Joe Buck, Kevin Burkhardt. I guess Kevin Burkhardt's all right. But anybody else, Bob Costas knows more baseball. You know why people hate Bob Costas? Probably for the same reason they hate me. Because I'm old school and baseball today sucks compared to what it used to be. That's why people hate Bob Costas, guaranteed. It might be the fag football players at Jim baby. National Happy Tight End Day. I didn't know it was such a thing. Why is there a day for everything today? Another thing I have to go off about. Please, why do I have a day for everything? National, thank God there's poop in the diaper day. What do you got here? You don't like the, whatever. You know something, Carlos? Pitchers have cheated forever. Pitchers cheat, hitters cheat. People try to get an edge. You call it cheating. I call it whatever. You think all these pitchers are cheating? All of them? Just because Joe Musgrave had great stuff and beat the Mets, did they find anything? I love guys who talk about cheating. God, I'm the only Yankee fan in the world sticks up for the Astros. God. That's why we play the games. Which reason? Which reason is that? Major League Baseball should investigate them because that's the status quo. Major leagues need to review their own rules. No, they just put new rules in. What rules they need to investigate, Carlos? What rules don't you like? The rules that have made this at one point the greatest game this country's ever known, and the reason that those it isn't the greatest game anymore is because of TV and wanting more offense and 10 to 8 games and not letting pitchers have any edge. But when pitchers do anything to try to get an edge over a hitter who's, oh, by the way, maybe we ought to check the bats that they're using, that they have a 200-mile-an-hour exit velocity, which nobody gives a crap about, number one. And number two, where was I? As I've said many times, I'm going to get Kevin Kernan on, and he will make your head explode. Every single rule since 1968, I've said this 100 times, I'm tired of saying it, has been every single rule instituted in Major League Baseball, and maybe CA, I don't know if you're a baseball fan or not. Every single rule since 1968 has been put into play to help the offense. Every single rule, including the rules that are going in next year. But the pitchers, don't use spider tack. Don't do anything that might give you an advantage over hitters who have every advantage over you. Harder baseballs, harder baseball bats, smaller parks, DHs, lower in the mound, making the strike zone smaller. How far do you want me to go, Carlos? I got to go on a cruise. I need to relax. Hitters can't hit the ball. Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs this year. My God. Hitters can't hit the ball. Too bad. How about this, Carlos? How about the hitters go back to hitting school and learn how to hit? How about that? How about we stop changing rules and we teach guys to hit the ball where guys aren't, which is only the way it was done 125 years. It's all about pitchers and spider tack and spin rates and exit velocities. Why don't you watch the game? Go back and watch games from 1970 and show me how this game today is better. Pitchers should be able to dominate hitters. Good pitchers. Joe Musgrave is a good pitcher. How many ERAs are over 5? Look at some of these guys I'm watching pitch. Oh, my God. Garrett Cole gave up 39 home runs or something this year. Actually. I love it. I haven't been to explode. I can't do this on a cruise ship. People look at me like I'm a freaking crazy person. Hit the timeout button. I can put, by the way, I did find out I can put people in timeout, so be careful, Carlos. I wouldn't do that. They collected uniforms and gloves from those pitchers who cheated this season and suspended them. Oh my gosh. Because again, don't let the pitchers have any advantage. Kenny Gifford, you pitched. Have you taken a look at the offensive stats the last 20 years in baseball, Carlos? Nobody who really loves baseball and loves the way the game is played wants to see it be a freaking EA sports game, a video game that's freaking played 15 to 12 games. Nobody except ESPN and guys like you. I enjoyed a 1-0 18-inning game. Kind of like the NFL butchering the rules. Again, it's the same thing. I said it earlier in the show. Doesn't matter what league we're talking about. Every rule change that gets put in is put in to help the offenses. Everyone. Maybe the NBA and zone defenses, but Major League Baseball, they're a freaking joke. And not because of the pitchers, Carlos, because of the people running the game that put rules in that don't need to be put in, make the bases bigger, eliminate the shift. Stupid. I can only throw it to first base 3 times and then give a guy a free base, basically. Speed up the game. Call the freaking rules that are in the book. Pitcher gets the ball. He's got 10 or whatever the rules say. The batters aren't supposed to leave the box. The pitchers get the ball and they pitch. Go watch a game from 1975 and watch how fast the game goes. 2 hours, the way it ought to go. No, Augustine, they don't need new rule fix. They need to enforce the rules that have been in the books for 125 years. That's what they need to do. You don't eliminate shifts. You teach guys how to hit. The way Tony Gwynn hit, the way Ted Williams hit. And don't tell me they can't hit these guys. Bob Feller threw 105 miles an hour. Nolan Ryan threw 100 miles an hour. They got hit. What has that got to do with what I just said, Carlos? So now you want to take a huge sample size and make it a small sample size and say you're right. You do that with every argument, by the way. Aaron Judge is chasing bad pitches. Bad pitches. That's why Aaron Judge isn't hitting. And also nobody's hitting around him, so they don't even pitch to him. Oh, Lasco's a really good pitcher. Yes, I did, and I'm sure that, and I mentioned this, I think, the other day when I went on live, Augustine, and I congratulated, or maybe I just sent Alan a message, I don't remember, but I congratulated him because the Texas Rangers made their first good move, managerial hire, since hiring Billy Martin in 1973. Bruce Bochy, the new manager of the Texas Rangers, brilliant move. He's known to be a cheater. You keep talking to me about cheaters. Cheating how? And I keep telling you, cheaters, pitchers have to cheat to have any chance. What do you want to watch, Carlos? Tell me what you want to watch. Tell me. You want to watch 10-9 games? Nobody wants to watch that. Nobody. Millennials who don't know what they think the game was invented in 1990. Nobody wants to watch that. And by the way, oh my God. Did you ever watch Gaylord Perry pitch? You know who Gaylord Perry is? Cheated all the time. Won 320 some games. Great pitcher. Did what he had to do to do well. Because hitters cheat. Because hitters cork baseballs. Because hitters take steroids. Because blah, blah, blah. Ballparks get smaller because they do everything they can to make it hard on the pitchers, including the way they train them to pitch, or maybe I should say not pitch. Fix it. First MLB Nolan in the Astrodome. How great would that have been? Nolan Ryan. By the way, I'll bring this up to you, and I think it's on Netflix, CA. If you're a Nolan Ryan fan, watch. Maybe we talked about this. I can't think of the name of it now. It's a great documentary about the career of Nolan Ryan. My favorite pitcher of all time. Never pitched on my team. Great pitcher. What's the score of the Philly game, by the way? Somebody give me the score of that game real quick. As in Philly, they're playing sloppy mud ball. Now, is it raining there? What's going on? Let me switch over here. What's going on? 3-2. Bad weather. I'm not sure what the mud has to do with that, Kenny. I can't believe I'm so wrapped. Obviously being off the air for a week is not good for me because if I come back and my head explodes. 13-7 Niners. All right. This ought to be good. If you look at low batting averages among the teams, however, when the best hitters can't sniff a grounder, because they don't know how to hit, by the way, Carlos, Mad New Yorker, whatever you want me to call you today. That's just ridiculous, especially when guys who are good are now pitching no hitters for like 5 innings. None of that makes any sense to me, Carlos. None. Because watch the average major league hitter swing from his heels every single time. Nobody trying to put the ball in play. For the most part, Jeff McNeil chokes up. Good pitchers should be able to throw no hitters for 5 innings. Should happen out more often. You don't want to watch well-played 2-1 baseball games, do you? You don't want to see that. You want to see guys swinging from the heels, striking out, and hitting 500-foot home runs because the balls are wound so tight and the pitchers aren't allowed to do anything except throw fastballs. Start your own game. Start your own league. Have your own stupid rules because the rules you want instituted are stupid. Sorry, I don't like to call things stupid. I hate that word, and I apologize. But you sound like a lackey for Rob Manfred because we got to fix a game that wasn't broken in the first place. It's broken because you don't like it because you think the game, the history of the game doesn't matter. Again, I want you to you have yet, Carlos, to respond to the fact. You have yet to respond to the fact that what I have told you. Give me one rule change. One rule change since 1968, which I know you don't go back that far and probably have never read about anything before 1990. And maybe that's unfair. But tell me what rule change was not put in to favor the offense, including the rules going in next year. Give me one rule or one change in baseball that has not favored the offense. One. Just one. First concert parents took us to, Johnny. You are old school. See, you're my man. You are, well, you're becoming one of the top. You're in the top. You're moving into the top 5, buddy. Who am I kicking out? Sorry about that. I don't mean to get anybody else mad at me. No, I don't have to have a top. You're a top fan. And so is Carlos. He's just nuts. That's all. smudged cap, shiny ears, whatever else. They've only done that for 125 years. You think that was invented Sunday night when the Mets lost? Those aren't rules, by the way. Those are things pitchers have done to try to keep an edge over hitters who have had every change in baseball go in their favor for 50 years. 60 almost. You want me to name them for you again? Just the ones I can think of off the top of my head? They lowered the mound in 1969 because the pitchers got too good. They made the ballparks smaller. The baseballs got harder and wound tighter. The bats got harder, made out of different types of wood. The designated hitter. What else? I don't know. I can probably keep going on, but there's five things right off the top of my head. Oh yeah, you can't throw at guys anymore either. You can't move guys off. You got to give the batter the entire plate. You can't say the outside corner's mine and back them off. You can't do that because then we warn both benches and nobody can throw inside at anybody. Nobody pitches inside. Can't do it. Thank you, Kenny. Maybe Pete Rose. That ain't going to happen because he's too crazy. If Tony Gwynn were alive today, you know what baseball needs? Here's what baseball needs. Baseball needs managers, just a couple of managers. I don't know what this is. I'll just close it for now. Baseball needs a couple of managers like Billy Martin. Play a little small ball. And if guys don't do what they're supposed to do and hit the other way to move a guy up, hit and run. I want to see hit and run. I want to see some old school baseball. I don't want to see 3 outcome baseball, walk, strikeout, home run, or even if you're going to give me a 4th outcome hitting straight into a shift. And Carlos, if you want rules to make baseball better, how about we make the baseball players better? How about we do that? Sounds like a novel idea. I know it's crazy, makes no sense to people who want rules in life to fix everything, right? I could apply that logic to another part of life, but I'm not going to because this isn't the show that we have here. But it's so irritating because it's so close. Oh, I'm still relaxed. This is awesome for me. Thank you, Rick. I have missed this. Can't do this on a cruise ship. People throw you in a brig. 3-year deal for Bochy. Great job, by the way. I thought he was older. He's only, 67? He's got baseball left him. He is one of the great, and he's a bit old school, by the way. He's one of those guys great move. Your team made a great move. 40 plus strikeouts in three games for the Yankees. I'm assuming you're talking about, right? 17 in game 1. That's what you. And Carlos is going to tell me that's because the pitchers cheat. No, that's because the hitters suck. Go back and watch those games, Carlos. Watch them over again. Show me one pitcher that cheated and show me one hitter who's sitting there trying to put the bat on the ball. Swing from the heels for everything. Thank God Aaron Hicks got hurt. I don't root for guys to get hurt, but I'm glad he's off the roster. But by the way, the regular season games suck too. Everybody knows, Carlos. You know why the games are I spent an entire season telling you the Yankees would struggle in the playoffs when they see elite pitchers because they don't know. There I am just throwing words without putting them in any kind of order. They don't take the right approach at the plate. Plain and simple. Home runs, they win. No home runs, they don't win. That's what you want. Learn to put the bat on the ball, hit the ball the other way. When you see a shift and everybody's at second base or either side, whichever way we're talking about it, how about do this? Take the ball the other way. And don't tell me the pitchers are so good that the hitters can't do it. There was great pitchers when Tony Gwynn was pitching. There was great pitchers when Rod Carew was doing it. Oh, these players look good. Who look good? Because they're seeing better pitchers. Better pitchers. Do you equate everybody who's good cheats? Is that what you're telling me? Everybody that's good cheats. Everybody. Justin Verlander cheats. All the Houston pitchers, every Houston pitcher cheats. Exactly. Great. Another great point. Lost art. Everybody in the world, baseball still gets scuffed up. And good catchers. Kenny's exactly right. Kenny pitched. He was a better catcher than he was a pitcher, I think. If I'm wrong, you can correct me, Kenny. But they help their pitchers out. When the umpire goes out and looks for an emery board or something, he's not going to find one because the catcher scuffed it up for him. It's been part of the game for 125 years, Carlos. It wasn't invented at the start of these playoffs. What they didn't play well enough to win, Carlos. They didn't play well enough to win. Nobody cheated the Dodgers out of the playoffs. Nobody cheated the Braves out of the playoffs. And again, if you want to talk about pitchers that cheated, I mean, the Braves in their history have had plenty. You don't think Greg Maddux scuffed the ball up now and again? Tom Glavine? And I'm okay with it. Because that's how the game gets played. Legislate all the fun out of baseball so we can have 10-9 games. We'll have lots of fun. That's what you want to watch is hitters who can hit. And I don't mind seeing hitters who can hit. But not because why don't we just have T-ball, Carlos? Why don't we just play T-ball? Get rid of the pitchers altogether. Major League Baseball is getting unwatchable, and you want it to be even worse. Good pitchers. But listen, Carlos, you know who Don Larson is? Do you know who Don Larson is? I'm not going to tell you who. I want you to answer. Do you know who Don Larson is? Nobody else give him a hint, please. I'll come back to that. Tell me first who Don Larson is and what he's famous for. Nobody else help him, please. Sorry, Al, I'm getting so excited here. Yankees Mariners from earlier this year, 2-1 was one. 2-1 games are great games if they're played well. Maybe not with 18 strikeouts, but well played 2-1 games are fun. I enjoyed the playoff games that were 1-0 that went 15 innings and 18 innings. No, you want rules. Start a league, make your own rules. So I'll wait on your Don Larson. I want to know what you think he's famous for. I know it's Sunday or Friday. Major League Baseball. This is awesome. Major League Baseball made these rules, and they do not follow any of these guys. To follow up with any of these guys who are suspected of cheating. Oh, my God. I don't understand. Carlos, they don't follow up. They check the pitcher at the end of every inning. Do you watch? Of course you don't watch. They go to commercials, so you don't see it. They check the pitchers every inning. What do you want? which is ridiculous. He's just you're mad. You're nuts and you're mad both. I don't want rule changes. They put a rule in, you can't use spider tack, and they do follow up. They check the pitchers at the end of every inning. Texans and Raiders. Somebody give me. Oh, Seahawks are up 17-0. I bet the Chargers today. Just because an upright crew, shake your hand and look. They make them unhook their belt buckle. Come on, Carlos. Pay attention to what's going on. They basically cavity search these guys, some of them. Some of them, if they don't think they're doing anything, probably get a little bit of a pass. I see guys have to take their freaking belt off for crying out loud. I'm going to have to go soon, guys. I'm running out of time. Baseball needs Juan Marshall, Don Drysdale, and Bob Gibson. That's what they need. Hit a few guys in their freaking ear lap now and again. You should be excited for Bochy coming. Great manager. That team will get tougher. They'll play smarter baseball, and you will be better for it. And you're not going to need rules changes for your team to get better. You're going to get a manager who preaches fundamental baseball, and that will make your team better, because that is the way it should be done. Not go crying to the commissioner and say, we need new rules. We need somebody to check the pitchers after every inning to make sure they aren't using any foreign substances. Appreciate it. I'm outside watching the kids horse riding. What did I miss? Oh, must be for the scores. As I've said, and I've said it all year long, that this will be the Yankees' problem. They cannot hit good pitchers. This is why they're down 3-0 against the Astros. It's not because the Astros pitchers are all cheating. Unless you live in whatever multiverse the Mad New Yorker has come from today. I don't need to add an asterisk for, first of all, no asterisks. Tell the story. Verlander and Clemens is a unfair comparison. Clemens cheated using steroids. Verlander, if he's scuffing a baseball, he's one of 1,000 guys in baseball history who scuffed a baseball. That's not even a fair comparison. You're comparing apples and oranges, Carlos. Come on. Well, that's why they aren't hitting, Carlos. That's the only reason. The pitchers are not better. Well, the pitchers might be better than they were overall because they don't teach them to pitch 9 innings. They teach them to pitch 70 pitches and throw them all 100 miles an hour. Chiefs 14-13. Let's go Kansas City. Alan Perales, look TV. Look TV. Nope, guys who had great spinners on the ball, which is unnatural to throw. Yeah. You ever see Nolan Ryan's curveball? Spider tack was never heard of. CA, if you're here with me, back me up. And if you haven't seen, what is the name of that? Is it Being Nolan? I don't know what it is. Great documentary, Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan's spin rate was better than freaking Garrett Cole's. It's not unnatural. Some guys could just do it. And by the way, I'm not arguing they got some help with it, Carlos. What I'm telling you is I don't care. When everything you do for 60 years gives the advantage to a hitter, I don't have a problem with a pitcher trying to find an advantage. And you still need some talent, by the way. If you think putting a little spider tack on your hand makes you Nolan Ryan or Jacob deGrom or Max Scherzer, you're wrong. Dallas, well, I still haven't gotten the answer. So Carlos obviously doesn't know who Don Larson is. Don Larson pitched a perfect game in 1956 in the World Series. Don Larson was not a great pitcher. Don Larson wasn't cheating. Don Larson, whatever else you want to talk about it, I think he had a below 500 record, Don Larson. I don't have it in front of me. Don Larson is famous for one thing, a perfect game in the World Series. Dallas Braden is another one. It isn't just great pitchers. Good pitchers come up and have good days, really good days, without cheating. And if they get a little something to help them along, who cares? Dallas Braden was pitching against a bunch of guys on steroids. High arc. Kenny, did you play? And I got to go. Kenny, did you play on the Mickey's High Arc team? Was that fun or what, man? I hate it. I thought I'd hate it. I'd gotten too old to play fast pitch, and because I was old and beat up and like Kenny, and played a couple years with Mickey's Tavern at High Arc and never had so much fun in all my life. He sells ice cream at the corner store in his neighborhood. Dallas. Is that Don Larson? I know. What the hell? I know when the hell did they start that? I'm not sure what we're talking about now. There you go. Who's Don Larson? Carlos, this is one of the reasons you and I cannot have serious conversations about baseball and the history of this game and how great a game it is, because you don't know who Don Larson is. I'm sorry. Hey, you could have even looked it up on Google while I was here. No, he pitched one perfect game in the World Series. And nobody pitched 6 or 7 perfect games, number one. Nolan Ryan threw 7 no-hitters, which I guess you don't know who he is either. Or the guy Halladay caught up to. Halladay didn't catch up to anybody. He threw a no-hitter in a playoff. Bucci. He'll get him, too. If you don't think Bruce Bochy will improve that team again, you know nothing about baseball. Again, I'm going to tell you again. All pitchers try to cheat. All hitters try to cheat. Cheating, and when we're talking about cheating, I'm not talking about steroids. I'm talking about sign stealing. I'm talking about putting a little grease on a baseball. I'm talking about a catcher, as Kenny said, scuffing up a baseball for his pitcher. That stuff's gone on forever. How do you know that, Carlos? Please, you know something? I'm going to tell you something. You find something, you don't come on my show and say that without something to back it up. So you send me something to back it up, because you told me one other story one time without any verification other than what you and some other guy told you. And I won't get into it here because I won't throw you under the bus. You probably think Michael Jordan went to play baseball for a year because he was suspended by the NBA. That stuff ticks me off. If you don't know, give me some corroboration. Don't come here and say it because you heard it from somebody. Who? Because you know more important people than anybody else knows? Now I am mad. Shouldn't even have put the post up. Would have been suspended for a year. For what? They got reasons to cover up for Justin Verlander. Stop it. Is that what it was, facing Nolan? That was a great. Now, do you obviously saw? See, you and I may have talked about it before. You sure? And Carlos, by the way, I'm not until you show me some corroboration. I'm not putting up one more comment you got today. Because that's ridiculous. You're gonna besmirch one of the greatest pitchers to me in modern times, Justin Verlander. You're going to besmirch him with zero credibility, zero evidence, except somebody told you, and nobody else knows it but you and this other guy, probably. Wow. Don Larson had more than a couple perfect games. Carlos, Don Larson threw one perfect game in a World Series. That's it. Don Larson threw no more perfect games than that. I don't have to look that up. I know that. He threw one perfect game. 1956 World Series. Look it up. Not unless he cheats. I'm just going to give you the answers you want from now on. Because I'm pissed right now, Carlos. I didn't say you said that about Jordan. Well, there's a story. There's a story everywhere to conspiracy theorists. I want you to back up your comment about Verlander. And I'm not kidding about this, Carlos. This will be the last time I will accept some of your nonsensical freaking commentary unless you can back that statement up. I should never put it up on the screen. And now I'm serious. Back it up. I'm not shocked that Kenny scuffed the ball here and there. Roger was with Boston and Andy was with New York when they, yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Roger probably juiced after Boston CA. I'm pretty sure Roger was juicing in Toronto, in New York, in Houston, and probably in New York again. And you know what? He should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Carlos made a comment before, and I'm not letting you off the hook, Carlos, just because I'm giving you some credit here. Roger Clemens should be in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. I didn't say asterisks. Tell the whole story. They cheated. I don't even care. I'm pretty sure it probably says on Gaylord Perry's plaque in the Hall of Fame that he threw a spitball, which is illegal. Oh, I am ticked off, by the way. I'm sorry, guys, for my tirade here. But do not, you can come here with ridiculous opinions, but do not tell me that you know a story, an inside story that you can't share, that somebody would have, they did something wrong, they would have been, all right. Well, I'll just because you found an article doesn't mean I'm going to say you're right. And if you are right, I'll apologize to you, Carlos. You should have sent it to me here where I can read it. Let me see if I can pull it up quick. Where'd you send it to me? I got to go. White's going to kick my ass. I'm in the wrong thing. I'll read it later. If I'm wrong, Carlos, you get an apology to me, and I'm sorry. But nothing gets me because I've had other people do this to me, and I get on other shows where people throw out outrageous claims. You know, I've heard all this stuff about Brady and his personal life. Forget about that crap, guys. You know, I mean, there better be some real corroboration. What is that? You sent me an article and his court date. You never sent me an article about Verlander before. Never. We've never had this discussion about Justin Verlander before. Never. And what court dates? What did he do? So, but now you don't know where they are? Dude, believe me, I'll do some research. Dale Murphy was an honorable player. You know what? Another great player. You know what? You see, the game is so much different. There are so few guys that get it today in sports. And when I say get it, I'm talking about guys like Jeter and why the Yankees need to sign Aaron Judge, guys like Dale Murphy, guys like Mike Schmidt. Classy guys who carry themselves the right way on the field. Don't cheat the game by walking to first base and turning doubles into singles, blah, blah, blah. Please resend it to me, Carlos, because, again, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it to you. But we can't make accusations like this without some corroboration. He was going to be suspended for a year for spider tack? Is that what you're telling me? Oh, God. I'm losing it. Oh. Harold Baines is a good dude. I would not listen. And I'll let CA speak up about this if he'd like to. And then we're going to get done. Because I've gone longer than I said I'd go today. Or have I? What time did I come on? Oh, 4 o'clock. Harold Baines is a really, really good baseball player. A really, really, really good person by all accounts. I don't think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. I don't think Gil Hodges belongs in the Hall of Fame. Great player. But again, if you're going to let guys like that in, then Thurman Munson has to be in. Don Mattingly has to be in. Kirby Puckett's in. Kirby Puckett's in. Don Mattingly's got to be in. And I'm not saying Don Mattingly should be in. I think that's become the Hall of Very Good. And the Veterans Committee, or whatever they're calling it these days, they're letting some guys in that, in my mind, don't belong in Hall of Fame. They just don't. We're going to keep Bonds and Clemens out, but we're going to let Harold Baines in. We're going to let Gil Hodges in because they're good people. I got nothing against them. They're really good ball players. I just don't think they're Hall of Famers. The Texans lead 13-10. Chargers good. Good. Hall of Very Good. It's what it is, Rick. I mean, the NFL's the same way, to be honest with you. I mean, the NFL, every year baseball doesn't have to induct anybody. If nobody gets the votes, they don't get in. There's been years that nobody was inducted. Football's even worse because you got to have between, I don't know, who even knows what the criteria is, 7 to 10 players. And there's a lot of guys that don't belong in there. They don't. A lot of really good players. But the Hall of Fame should be the best of the best. Harold Baines wasn't the best of the best. He was never the best in any 1 year he played. Neither was Gil Hodges. Gil Hodges is a great player. Look at his numbers. I had a guy argue that Keith Hernandez should be in the Hall of Fame. Keith Hernandez should not be in the Hall of Fame. I think Mac McGrath thinks that. No, he shouldn't. Good players, not great players. No, they are good players. They're not great players. I said that. I'm not sure how that backs up any argument you've had today, Carlos. Better players than some of the guys who can't hit today. Don't blame the pitchers. Jets are up 10-9. Ooh, look at that. By the way, I just saw a highlight where Kansas City intercepted Jimmy G at the goal line. Is it really halftime in this football game already? Holy moly. All right, guys, what else you got? I'm done. I got to get out of here. Let me play some music on my way out. I had a great time. I'm glad I came on today because I've had a lot of aggression to work out here that I built up over the last week. You know how stressful it can be on a cruise ship. And I've had a lot of fun with you. Listen, I get on Carlos and most of it's in good fun. What I want to hear is uncorroborated stuff. So we will discuss when I'm on again, Carlos's allegations against one Justin Verlander. What do we got here? How come my music stopped? That's weird. There it is. Jim Marshall's still not in. You know what? Boy, it's funny. You know, Jim Marshall, just for the number of games he played in a row, probably ought to be in. But I can think, and I'm not sure, Rick, I'll be quite honest with you. I'm not sure if Jim Marshall should be in or not. But I will say this. Compared to some of the guys that are in there, Jim Marshall should be. Hey, thanks, Bobby is having a migraine. He's busy watching the Phillies game. Baseball is doing a better job than the NFL. That's the best I can say. That's not saying a lot either, Steve. They are. Bye for now, Kenny. Good to have you. Guys, I went off on quite a few tangents today, man. This was definitely the Stream of Consciousness show. I had a great time today. Great being back in the saddle, even if it's at the wrong time. Even if I went about an hour longer, and I told my wife I would. We're going to go down now, watch the rest of the football game, order some dinner, and we'll be back. I'll have my Patriot recap on this week soon. Thanks for the welcome home. I should have gotten in before Carl Eller. I think he's talking about. I don't know. Rick might argue that one. I don't know. I'm going to leave that one to Rick. But guys, thanks for having me. Thanks for being on. All of you guys are what make me have fun here, even when my head is exploding over Carlos. Carlos, please, you better be right about the lander, or we're going to have a big problem. All right? I mean, at least the other thing we didn't bring up on the air, because I would not let you do that, just so you know. All right, guys. Been a fun time. Keith Engel, TGI Sports Talk. What show is this? The Stream of Consciousness show, Sunday, late today. Here we go. Patriots kill the Bears tomorrow. We get it at 8:15. Augustin will be in bed before I even get through watching the game. All right, guys. Have a great Sunday night. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Keith Engel for TGI Sports Talk. Have a great day.